Good morning and welcome to another edition of Creative Space. Well, today's guest, I'm very honoured to have a very talented young artist who specialises in polymer clay. I would like to welcome our young wattle woman artist, Lily Jacobson. Welcome, Lily.
Hi, welcome. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for being a guest.
Before we begin today, I would just like to acknowledge the country that we're standing on today, the Trabeling Bunda, the Gurang, Goreng, and the Bailey people. And I think we should pay respects to the elders and all First Nations, Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples, past, present and emerging. So.
Thank you, Lily. Now, Lily, you are different to a lot of young Indigenous artists in the sense that you've predominantly chosen polymer clay to be your medium. Now, for the people of the Wide Bay Area who may not be familiar with Lily's work, Lily does these amazing earrings. Lily, can you tell me why you chose polymer clay as the and what got you into it?
Yeah, well, what got me into it? Well, I've always been a creative kid and I really needed a creative outlet. It's like medicine. It's like very healing for me to be able to express myself creatively. I really needed that to deal with my mental health. And then I found that working with my hands is a lot better, it's a medium that really resonates with me. I really like being able to manifest something and then being able to create it with my hands. And I found that ceramic was really messy and my mum hated it and I really struggled to keep it really clean. And so I found polymer clay and it's a really cool medium. You get to cure it in the oven so it hardens like in a little small conventional oven. So it's super easy to be able to just like quickly make something, like I have a design in my head and I can make it and then it's physically in front of me. It's just so satisfying. So that's why I chose polymer clay. And I found it on my gap year. I had a gap year after school and I just got really interested in it. And I think that everyone should give it a go.
When you're talking about polymer clay and doing ceramics and other art, I think one of the things that we often see with a lot of Indigenous artists is that do you often feel like that you're stereotyped or Indigenous artists? Because on the back of us, Lily has got these amazing paintings that she has done. Now, we see so many different paintings coming from different cultures and different clans. Do you feel like you were expected to follow the path of doing the traditional Indigenous paintings?
Yeah, definitely. I definitely think there's a big stereotype around, Indigenous First Nations art. It's all of the patterns and the styles that you see, those very traditional symbols and, patterns and the dot painting specifically. There's a lot of stereotypes that is Aboriginal Torres Strait Islander art. But really, it comes in many forms. I take inspiration from my past, from my ancestors and all of the paintings and art that they've created, and I put a modern spin on it. And it doesn't have to be painting, no. I love that I'm able to use my First Nations culture to be able to create earrings. Like, that's a whole new medium. So I think I'm breaking that stereotype of just being painting.
Look, I think it's wonderful. Now, Lily, there's some earrings that you've brought in today. Now, I've just been looking at them and they're absolutely stunning. How much work goes into a piece?
Oh, well, that's hard to say because every piece is different, Sometimes I make this big slab and I can cut earrings from it and everyone gets like the same sort of design from the slab, and some are made individually. And I'll show you in a second, these turtle ones, they took me like 5 hours to create this one pair of earrings. But it was just so satisfying to make, time goes so fast. So between, I don't know, it's hard to say. Every pair is different, but I'd say a long time, honestly. It's worth it.
What inspires you how do you get your creative ideas? Is it, do you look at other artists for inspiration, or do you just walk about in the gardens or everyday nature? Yeah,
for real, every day. My inspiration is literally nature. I really make sure like I don't like looking on social media, and I honestly don't like looking at other artists like paintings and stuff like that. I really struggle because worried that I'll get that idea of what they have exactly, and I might not copy it, but I'll replicate it, and I don't want to do that. I'd rather take my inspiration from nature. That's a really big part of my art. It's all really from nature. But also, I'll tell you what, my aunties and uncles are brilliant painters, and I go over to their house all the time. They live out a little bit, but I get a lot of inspiration from them. They teach me like a lot of stories and stuff. So I would say that they're my inspiration.
So you seem to come from a very talented artistic family in very different ways. Now, you were commenting just before we started that the hat that you're wearing, now that's made by your grandmother, I believe.
My nanny, yeah.
Yes.
She's good.
Does anyone else in your family do art on a bigger scale?
Oh, well, no, not really. Well, my aunties on my dad's side, the First Nations side, I have a lot of family that paints, but not professionally or anything, but they do it because it's like very self-healing. But there is one auntie, and she takes her artwork to like Canberra, and she puts it into the prizes and stuff like that, and she gets the benefits, she gets all of the recognition for that. But they just do it for themselves, you know. They don't do it for profit or to make money or anything. They just do it for themselves.
Just behind us, we have some of Lily's work. Now, Lily, I'll just get you to explain the blue one that we've got, the blue and the black one. What was the idea that came to you, and can you explain a little bit about this piece?
Yeah, well, on NAIDOC Week this year, I reconnected with some family that we had broken from, and it means a lot to me, this painting. I'm literally going to get emotional.
Look, it is very beautiful. Now, we were talking, you mentioned before about, I guess, the more traditional stereotype with the dots and the very easily identifiable. Even though I can see this has got that influence, it's still got a little bit of a modern twist on it.
Definitely.
And even the colours themselves and the way the art's been used, it's very unusual. Now, the other pieces that you've had, what were the inspiration behind them?
Oh, I just love mixing Australian florals with First Nation elements, especially this one up here. My mum loves pink and eucalyptus flower, and this is more about her and her taking care of me. And then this blue one over here is just, I learned recently. So this is my journey as an artist, coming into myself as a First Nations artist. And up here is where my ancestors belong, and they're in the dreaming. This means the dreaming for me, the repetitive patterns. It's very spiritual. You get lost in it because that's where they are. And this is where they meet. This is their meeting. This is a symbol of meeting place. This symbol is person, and that is specific ancestors. And this is the line of ancestors that are most relative to me. And this down here is their little spirits, and that's popping off, and all of their spirit energy is coming down into me. And this snake represents my parents, and they're ever flowing, and they're always there around me. And this is me. I will be a turtle when I go back to the spirit land. And this is where I am on the material world. This is where we are now, with all the material animals, the rocks, the rock pools, and it's all flowing down into me. And it's always been there. It's always been there, but I'm just learning. Recently a lot, I've been really connecting with that part of me, like the Dreamtime part of me, and it just means a lot to me, that one. So I thought I'd share that one with you guys.
It is beautiful. I do love it. Now, how long have you been doing polymer clay now?
Yeah, 3 years.
3 years? 3 years. So where do you see yourself going in, say, another 3 years?
Well, I've got big plans. I've got lots of big plans for the future. It's hard for me to explain it all, but I really am interested in First Nations fashion. I think that the future of Australian fashion is First Nations designs. I think that I want to be involved in that. I would love to be able to create my own brand that is an Australian-made brand with First Nations and floral, like wrap skirts and scarves. And my nanny makes these hats, so we're going to start with hats. And I'll get my own cotton fabric made, all in Australia, and then she can make some bucket hats for me. So that's where we'll start.
That sounds like a great plan. Lily, when we talk about fashion and design and art, can you see yourself, as far as the polymer clay earrings? At the moment, they're very bright and colourful. Can you see yourself going down the traditional road, or will you still use all those beautiful, vibrant colours that we're seeing?
Yeah, well, you know what? The more that I learn about my family's culture and my family, and I see my auntie's paintings and that, it really motivates me to go down the traditional route. But I love that I can have a modern spin on First Nations fashion, and I don't know, I want people to be able to wear it. It's more futuristic, I'm trying to say more modern. I want people to be able to wear it every day, wear my earrings every day. So I definitely will be incorporating the bright colours for the rest of my life. I'm a very bright girl. I love the yellows, love the oranges, as you can tell, the pinks. But I do enjoy traditional artwork. So I think that mixture, that fine balance between the traditional, customs and the symbols and that, I think that's really important to portray through my artwork.
Do you ever see yourself teaching at any stage?
Well, that's interesting because I've been teaching polymer clay during my workshops at home. I have been doing workshops and I've been teaching how to make a eucalyptus flower slab. That's the workshop that I'm doing right now. But as for teaching in a school, that's not what I'm looking at doing. I haven't really thought about that too much. Look, I'm still exploring my own self. I'm still exploring my own identity, and I'd love to learn my native language. I'd really love to do that. I think I'm just going to be focusing on teaching myself first, but I think it's an incredible thing that there are a lot more Indigenous opportunities to be taught at schools recently. I've seen a lot of language being taught with programs and also the arts. That's really important, and I'm really happy that that's happening, but I can't see myself teaching.
Teaching is one of those things. You either like it or you don't. Lily, can you just explain in your workshops when you're doing it at home, what would the women be expecting to do, and how long is one of your workshops?
Yeah, well, we're still figuring out how long it takes, because we've allocated 3 hours for it, but I had one on Saturday recently, and it's a skill-based workshop. So I'm teaching you the skills and the techniques to be able to do what I'm doing. And it's a tricky thing to grasp, but I've got step-by-steps. I'm doing live demonstrations. I'm right there next to you, helping you actually work and learn polymer clay. Most of these ladies this is their first time touching polymer clay. And I think they're a bit nervous by the prospect of being able to create what I've just shown them. But once they go through it, they realise that they can do it, and it's really enjoyable to learn something new. I think it's just a really cool experience for them to be able to physically make something, build a connection with this thing. I'm going to finish the earrings for them, and then they can actually wear them. They can wear something that they've created. And yeah.
I'm just going to get you to just explain the behind your turtle workshops, your beautiful polymer clay earrings, they're the turtles. Now, for people that would like to do maybe one of your workshops and be inspired for you, could you just take us through the turtle? Yeah,
can I pick these up?
You certainly
can.
That's
so good. I've really enjoyed designing this because I've actually got this for the tourism board. I've started creating turtles specifically for the tourism board because so many people come through, they're doing the turtle season, they're coming and looking at our awesome turtles at Monrepo, and they've asked me to do many turtles. So this is actually just meaning the travel lines, these white lines here, and this turtle is where a gathering would be, in the symbol of travel lines and the gathering. And I've done a little pandanus down here, just because I think that's really representative of our East Coast. And then I've also done more traditional style dots on this turtle here. And I love it because it's like the loggerhead turtle. The colours of it is it's just so representative. It all ties together really well. And I love that it matches the backing card. I think that's just gorgeous. I think that this really represents Bagara.
It does,
doesn't it? Like, I just see Bagara on repose when I look at it. I actually went down there to have a look and like just get some inspiration, and I brought my sketchbook, sketched it out, had a look at the pandanus. Apparently, you can actually eat the pandanus, but
You can. I
don't know about that.
It's an acquired taste, but I love the fact that you are doing this, but I also love the fact that they're actually made here locally, and I think that's so important for a lot of tourism, the people that come and want something local. So we're very fortunate that we do have an area that promotes local talent and fostering local things. So they're absolutely beautiful. They're absolutely stunning. Now, I've had a look on your social medias, and I do follow you, and I've got to admit, probably one of my favourite pairs of earrings that you do is I love the Galar series.
Oh, yeah.
The Galars I absolutely do. Now, when you do that, how difficult is it to go back and do one of those? Because it's very, I've dabbled in polymer clay and I find it's very fiddly. What's the trick? Because I've found that when I do it, I usually end up melting it. My fingers get so hot.
Yeah.
Do you find that you've learnt to work very quickly now?
Oh, yeah. Well, I love to have an open space. And it's the clay is definitely very malleable, especially if you've got this certain brand, S1E3. It is impossible, so soft. And it definitely does melt in your hands. But because I work in such an open space, I like to have all the windows and the doors open in my house. I don't know why, I just love that fresh air. It's cold, it's a little bit colder, so that really helps the clay in not getting so sticky on my hands. But another thing that helps is sharp tools, and I'm super fast now. Like, I've been doing this for 3 years and I can just go boop, 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 flaming galar, you know? It's great, I love those galars. Hey, at Bagara, you see them at Bagara all the time at skate park.
When we come back, we'll be discussing more about Wattle Women and what Lily's doing. So stay tuned and we'll be back in just a moment. Welcome back to Creative Space, and my guest is Lily Jacobson from Wattle Woman. Now, Lily, we've been talking about some of your beautiful earrings and your designs and all the motivation and the inspiration behind your artwork. Now, when we were talking about the artwork behind us just there, you happened to mention just before the show started that some of them were being printed off. Now, are they going to be prints that are available locally, or are you going to be doing them just strictly online? And where can we find some of your amazing artwork?
Oh my goodness. Well, my mum has everything. She has first pick, so sorry. But these are honestly the first artworks that I've created that I'm ready to open to the public. I mean, I'm going to be getting them scanned. I'm going to be getting them made into little, A4 prints, these prints, whatever size prints, and selling them online. And I will be selling them, I'm not sure yet. I'm still figuring it out. But yeah, that's definitely, it's not an easy thing. I mean, I've gone from doing earrings to paintings, and I just have so much to learn. I'm so open to learn. But eventually I'd love to get these made into like a fabric, as I was saying before, so my nanny can like make hats or skirts for me.
Yeah, look, I think that's a fantastic idea. Now, your earrings, where can we buy those, or where can people buy them apart from you directly? Where around the Wide Bay region can we go?
Yeah, well, I'm proudly stocking at the Bundaberg Art Gallery, the Bundaberg Tourism Board, where people travel through often, Childers Art Gallery, and Cha Cha Chocolate, and my online store.
And your online store there. When we talk about, I was talking with a few of our previous guests about entering art competitions. So do you enter art competitions at all?
Look, I did once when I was 10. I'm really working on my organisation and like my schedule. I'm shocking. Like I think most artists would say that they're shocking with their schedules, and once they get that inspiration, they're doing it. They're doing their artwork, and they're not stopping until the next day. So I really struggle to like plan ahead and go, you know what, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this, I'm going to put this artwork in September. But you know what, this year I actually am going to do it. I'm focusing on, like I'm putting into the Bundaberg Art Prize for the first time in, well, I'm 20, so 10 years. I wanted to put this blue one in, get it framed nicely on like some nice oak or something, put it in. I'm not expecting to win, I just wanted to share that part of my story on my little didactic,
Well, that's fantastic. And you mentioned your age, Lily. So for someone so young, I guess as we get older, we forget the journey that a lot of us have come from. So when your journey first started, did you feel that it was going to be hard or easy, or where did you get help along the way? And apart from your family, what were the things that you went through?
Oh, I've had a pretty rough time for the past, like, I'd say 11 years. I've had it I'd say it had been a bit of a rough journey, but it's still my journey, and I'm really happy that I went through everything that I went through. You know, I went through a lot of family problems, a lot of medical trauma, just a lot of life events that put me through the ringer. I definitely learnt many, many lessons. I faced a lot of issues and overcame them a lot, even in the past year. Like, I wouldn't, like, my 10-year-old self would just be so happy from where I am now. I'm really proud of who I am.
For younger people that are, say, struggling, and it's not to have any division, but sometimes I do find that there is a slight disadvantage to younger Indigenous kids coming up. I don't know whether it's they feel that they're stereotyped or whether they feel they have to go down a certain path, but did you ever feel growing up that it was slightly different for you?
Yeah, look, definitely. Look, I can't comfortably say that I was too white for the black kids and too black for the white kids, but in school I felt like I didn't belong anywhere because I'm a light-skinned First Nations person, and I was brought up like on the water with my mob, and I had it's so hard because I'm in the two of both worlds. Like my mum, I was lucky enough to have my mum around, and it's hard for me to explain, but I felt as though I had more white privilege than most First Nations children, and so I did have more of an advantage than other Indigenous kids that I saw at school. And so, I can't say that I fully understand some Indigenous kids' struggles, but I definitely think that there is massive division that needs to be talked about, and there needs to be more inclusion in just young people, the younger generations. Like, I see so much discrimination. It's so sad. It makes me really sad that I feel like people can't. I can't even explain it. There's like two worlds, and we just need to bring it together.
You saying that you wanted to do fabrics and fashion is such a big tool, and I'm seeing a lot more of the Indigenous artwork becoming wearable art, and I know in your Northern Territory there are a few communities with the ladies that are doing these beautiful scarves and the beautiful wraps. Yes.
Murder, the
yes.
Kunjanella sisters.
Yes,
gorgeous.
They are fantastic.
They're gorgeous, aren't they?
So it'd be interesting to see,
Yeah, I'm all over that. I'm all over that. Mum and I are on it. We're just like, oh, isn't it just so gorgeous?
So through the Indigenous journey and also being an artist, and now you're doing polymer clay, do you think in the future there might be another medium that you would try through promoting your stories?
Yeah, well, I am learning ceramics. It is a massive journey in itself. I mean, I I can't say that I'm a good ceramist yet, but I'd love to make beautiful forms and then paint stories on them, like nice structures and forms with clay. I love painting. I mean, I really would love to start doing murals and like, you know, that big whale, that big whale, massive cement thing. I want to paint on that so bad. Hear me? I want to paint a Milby on there. That's so representative of our land.
Well, I know when we had the Milby Festival a few years ago, and we managed to do the Milby Festival, and I was involved in the Cavern of Wonder, and we saw so many beautiful little Indigenous stories, and then we've had a beautiful big murals. We talked about Monrepo before, and I was talking about your beautiful turtle earrings, and what are some of the other animal influences that you have done? I mean, it's traditionally, we talk about the Dreamtime serpent, and we talk about the lizards and the goannas. What are some of the other animals that inspire you?
Oh, well, I love the kangaroos, honestly. I think that's just a personal preference because, honestly, just from school, kangaroos were always on the oval at Shalom. I went to Shalom. And they really inspired me because they're just chilling. They don't have any cares in the world. And I just really resonated with that. And they were just on the land, just doing their thing. That's something that's really special to me. That's what I strive to live like, just on the land doing my own thing. But I'm really inspired by like the crabs, and I just love ocean animals. I think that's because I like grew up going putting the crab pots out and went fishing in that because I don't know, we were just really water people. My father and his uncles and that, they're just really big water people. But honestly, I love painting the honey bush ants. I don't know, they're just so aesthetically pleasing. I've got them on here actually. You probably might need to do a close-up, but these honey bush ants, I've just learnt stories about that, about people popping and eating their honey bums, their honey posteriors, and there's also the witchetty grubs as well. So yeah, I love working with those, but I'm still learning. I mean, I'd love to learn more stories. I don't like to paint things that aren't part of my country, part of my story, but I do like to learn. And I can't say that the honey bush ants are a part of Queensland. They're more up and desert style.
Yes.
But my grandfather, he used to travel around with all of his siblings, like, 8 or 9 in a truck, and they'd travel around all of Australia. So I've learnt stories being passed down from them, their experience with them honey ants.
Was there a lot of stereotype with people thinking that Indigenous art is just all under one umbrella?
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. It's difficult because we share lots of symbolism. We share a lot of patterns and symbolism, and it's hard to explain. I think that it's respectful to, when doing Indigenous art, when painting or telling stories, I think it's really respectful to just tell the stories that make art from your land, and also telling your point of view, your story is art, like letting your expression of life, your perspective, is a better word, shine through your artwork is what makes it unique and special, Yeah.
Do you ever see yourself sort of thinking, oh, well, I'll go off and I'll do that for a minute? Or is at the moment for you, you've got the painting and you've got your polymer clay, but is that your real thing at the moment?
Oh my goodness. Literally, I just went down to the local pottery shed and I've just done these wheel throwing lessons on a Saturday morning, and I'm like trying to learn how to hand build, and I'm going home and I'm making this ceramics table, like this tile table, and I've got 100 things going at once. And I said to my partner yesterday, I just need to, I've just got too many hobbies. I just need to focus on my painting and my polymer clay because I'm going to go crazy. I've got 100 things going at once. So I'm definitely scattered, but I'm literally yesterday, I'm going to sit down. I'm just going to focus on my earrings and my painting. I'm going to put the hand building on hold for a little bit, just so I can because I want to get the paintings done for the Bundaberg Art Prize. But yeah, It's interesting, eh? I don't know. It'd be interesting to know what sort of artists are out in the Bundaberg community, or the Wide Bay community.
Lily, I just want to thank you so much for being on the show. It has been great to learn about your journey, and I look forward to seeing more about Lily, more about Wattle Woman. And just before we go, what inspired you to call yourself Wattle Woman? What was behind that?
We've got this massive wattle tree, Acacia portifolia is its species name, in my backyard, and it blooms right now. It's blooming right now. Maybe that's why I'm feeling so good. But my mum, she's like, Wattle Woman, that's your name, definitely Wattle Woman. So that's why.
Well, I think it suits you.
It's nice, eh?
And look, I love that you're doing and you're promoting Indigenous art through a different medium, one that people have not really seen before. And it's great to see that, because to people that buy your artwork now, when you look at a pair of polymer clay earrings, and especially one that have been designed and made by you, I think we're going to see more and understand more that it's not just a turtle. It's a story, and explaining the storylines and how you get them, I think, makes the pieces that much more special. And for a long time we thought of art had to be on a canvas, or art had to be something you're drawing, and now these are works of art within themselves. So I just think it's fantastic, and it's great. So go and have a look at Lily's work. Absolutely amazing. And Lily, I cannot thank you enough for being on the show.
Thank you.
It is so great to see a young artist that is emerging.
Oh my goodness.
And
thank you.
You are
so
very
much.
talented, and I just love the new twist on Indigenous art. It's been fantastic.
Yeah, there'll be much more. A lot more coming.
I look forward to seeing the journey and where it takes you.
Thank you.
Viewers, thank you for tuning in again, and wherever you are, create, have a wonderful week, and we will see you next week on Creative Space.